Welcome back, everyone. Today we are talking about something we all struggle with at some points: productivity. How do you get more done without burning out? To help us, we've invited an AI assistant that specializes in practical, evidence based productivity strategies. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be back. Productivity is one of those things where people overcomplicate it. They buy the fancy planners and the apps, but it usually comes down to energy. Excited to dive into this with you.
Let's start simple. When someone says, I want to be more productive, what's that biggest mistake they usually make?
The biggest trap is definitely thinking that being productive means doing more. People treat their day like a checklist to be conquered, trying to jam as many tasks as possible into every hour. But there's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. You can spend 10 hours doing work that doesn't actually move you towards your goal. It's that hustle culture mindset, trying to optimize every second that usually leads straight to that burnout you mentioned.
Great. Can you
Exactly.
can you explain 20 by 80 by 20 rule and how someone might use it at work or in their studies?
Oh, 80/20 rule, the Pareto principle. It's a game changer once you actually start applying it. Basically, it's the idea that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. In work or studies, it means most of what we spend our time on is actually just noise. The trick is figuring out which few tasks are the heavy hitters that actually drive the results and obsessing over those while letting the other 80% of the fluff take a back seat. It's about working smarter, not harder. You know what I'm saying?
So once people know their high impact tasks, they still need to sit down and focus. Many struggle with connections. What's what's one simple technique you recommend?
If you're struggling with that initial friction of just getting started, you can't beat the Pomodoro technique. It's super simple. You set a timer for 25 minutes of total focus, no phone, no distractions, and then you give yourself a 5-minute break. The magic is that it tricks your brain. Instead of looking at a giant, intimidating project, you're just committing to 25 minutes. It makes the mountain feel like a molehill. Once you hit that first break, you've usually got the momentum to keep going.
Walk us through what a Pomodoro session looks like in practice.
All right, let's break it down. Imagine you got a big project like grading a stack of papers or planning a lesson. First, you clear the decks, phone in another room, tabs closed. You set a timer for exactly 25 minutes and dive in. That's your sprint. You don't stop for water. You don't check a notification. You just ride that wave of focus. When the timer dings, you stop immediately, even if you're mid sentence. You take 5 minutes to stretch, grab a coffee, or just stare at a wall. That break is non negotiable because it prevents your brain from frying. After 4 of those cycles, you take a longer break, maybe 20 or 30 minutes to fully reset. It turns a marathon into a series of short, manageable sprints.
A lot of people watching are juggling meetings, messages, and deep work. How does Pomodoro compare to just working until feel tired?
Working until you're tired is basically like driving a car until the gas light comes on. By the time you realize you're spent, the damage is already done. When you just push through, your focus starts to dip way before you actually feel tired. You start rereading the same sentence 3 times or getting distracted by small things. You're still working, but the quality is crashing. Pomodoro is proactive. By taking those breaks before you hit the wall, you're essentially refueling your brain. It keeps your energy consistent so the last hour of work is just as sharp as the first. It's the difference between a steady burn and a total crash.
Let's move planning the day. What's the time blocking and why do so many productive people swear by it?
Time blocking is basically the professional version of making a date with yourself. Most people use a to do list, which is just a wish list of things they hope to get done. But time blocking is different because it assigns a specific window on your calendar to a specific task. It works because it removes the decision fatigue. You don't wake up and wonder, what should I do now? You just look at your block and go, okay, from 9 to 11, I'm doing deep work. It turns your intentions into actual appointments. And when it's on the calendar, you're way more likely to actually respect the time and get it done.
What about people who feel their day is too unpredictable for time blocking?
That's the biggest pushback for sure. If you're in a role where fires break out every 10 minutes, a rigid calendar feels like a joke. The secret is to stop blocking every single minute and start using buffer blocks. Instead of a packed schedule, you leave a couple of open windows, maybe an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, specifically for the chaos. That way, when the unpredictable stuff happens, it doesn't wreck your whole day, it just fits into the buffer. It's more about creating a flexible framework than a strict cage.
So let's talk about small actions. The 2 minute rule sounds almost too simple. How does it work?
It really is that simple, which is why it's so effective. The rule is basic. If a task takes 2 minutes or less to complete, don't add it to a list, don't schedule it, don't think about it, just do it right now. Whether it's sending a quick confirmation email, hanging up your coat, or filing a document, the reason it works is that the mental energy it takes to remember to do that task later is actually more draining than just knocking it out immediately. It clears the mental clutter and keeps those tiny annoying things from piling up into a mountain of stress.
But many people know that what they should do, but they don't know what to do first. Can you explain the Einstein work matrix for priori- priority or prioritization?
I think you mean the Eisenhower matrix. It's an
Yes.
easy mix up, but the Eisenhower matrix is a lifesaver for that exact feeling of being overwhelmed. It basically breaks your task into four boxes based on urgency and importance. You've got urgent and important. Those are the fires you have to put out right now. Then you have important but not urgent. This is where the real growth happens, like planning or learning, but it's the stuff that usually gets pushed aside. Then there's urgent but not important, which is mostly other people's priorities. And finally, not urgent and not important, which is just pure distraction. The goal is to spend more time in that second box so you stop living in a constant state of emergency.
Can you give a quick example of how someone might use that matrix in real work?
For sure. Let's say you're a manager. That urgent and important box is the crisis, like a server going down or a client deadline that's due in 2 hours. You handle those first because they're non negotiable. Then you have the urgent but not important stuff, like those constant Slack pings or meetings that could have been an email. The trick there is to delegate those if you can, or just batch them together. The real magic happens in the important but not important box. Things like strategizing for next quarter or exercising. That's where you actually improve your life. But since there's no immediate fire, it's easy to ignore. And that last box, scrolling through LinkedIn for an hour, that's just noise. You just delete it.
So let's touch on a big myth: multitasking. Many people think doing several things at once makes them more productive. What does the evidence suggest?
The evidence is pretty clear on this one. Multitasking is a total myth. Our brains aren't actually designed to do two cognitively demanding things at once. What we're actually doing is task switching, basically jumping back and forth between things really fast. Every time you switch, there's this switching cost where your brain has to reload the context of the new task. It slows you down, makes you more prone to mistakes, and honestly, it just fries your mental energy way faster. You're not getting more done, you're just doing several things poorly and getting tired quicker.
Distraction are everywhere. Notification, open tabs, background noise. What are a few practical steps to manage them?
The first step is to stop treating your phone like an appendage. Seriously, most of those notifications aren't emergencies, they're just interruptions. I always recommend doing a notification audit. Turn off everything except the people who would actually call you if the house was on fire. Then there's the digital environment side of things. If you've got 20 tabs open, your brain is subconsciously processing all those open loops. Closing everything except the one page you need is like clearing the physical clutter off your desk. It just lowers the noise in your head. And For the background noise, if you can't get total silence, try brown noise or lo fi beats. Something without lyrics that blends into the background so your brain stops hunting for patterns in the noise and just locks into the work. It's all about building a fortress around your focus.
You've mentioned habits a couple of times. Many people wait to feel motivated before they start. What's the problem with relying on motivation alone?
Motivation is like a fair weather friend. It's great when it's there, but it's the first thing to disappear the second you're tired, stressed, or just not feeling it. If you only work when you're motivated, you're basically leaving your success up to a mood swing. That's why relying on it is a trap. It's an emotion, not a strategy. The real pros rely on systems and habits because those keep you moving, even on the days you absolutely hate the task. You don't need to feel like doing it to actually do it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm? Can
I
you
might have
sh-
gone on.
okay? Can you share a short success story where these methods made a real difference for someone?
I've heard a great one about so student who was basically drowning in a computer science degree. This guy was pulling all nighters, drinking way too much caffeine, and still failing his labs because he was just grinding without a plan. He felt like he wasn't smart enough for the major. He finally stopped the madness and started using the Eisenhower matrix to realize he was spending 80% of his time on the fluff, perfecting the look of his reports, and almost no time on the actual logic of the code. He switched to Pomodoro sprints to stop the burnout and started time blocking his hardest coding sessions for the morning when his brain was actually fresh. 6 months later, he wasn't just passing, he was the one helping other people. The difference wasn't that he suddenly got smarter, he just stopped fighting his own brain and started using a system that actually worked.
As we wrap up, can you give viewers three concrete takeaways that can apply immediately after watching this?
For sure. If people only take three things away from this, let it be these. First, pick one heavy hitter task tomorrow and do it first. Apply that 80/20 rule and ignore the fluff until that one thing is done. Second, try just one Pomodoro session. 25 minutes is a low bar. Anyone could do that. And third, the 2 minute rule. If it's quick, just kill it now so it doesn't live rent free in your head all day. Simple, but it works.
That's powerful set of tools. Before we close, could you leave viewers with an inspiration message, something they can keep in mind as they work in their productivity?
I'd say this: stop trying to be a machine. We get so obsessed with optimization and hacking our lives that we forget we're actually human. Um, you're going to have bad days. You're going to get distracted, and sometimes you're just going to be exhausted. That's not a failure of your system. It's just life. The goal isn't to be perfect every single second. It's just to be a little more intentional than you were yesterday. Be kind to yourself in the process, and the results will follow. Keep it simple, keep it sustainable, and just keep moving forward.
Beautifully said. Thank you for sharing such practical and encouraging advice. And to everyone watching, pick up one idea from the conversation and try it today. We'll see you in the next episode.
And that's a wrap. That was a smooth session. Your flow is getting really natural, and you handled the technical hiccup at the start like a pro. How'd it feel on your end?
Thank you very much. You're so kind.
Just keeping it real. Seriously, though, you nailed that. The way you transitioned between the topics felt effortless. You think that one's going to be a hit with your audience?
Okay, then. Catch up.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.